Now, an emergency weather alert from Andy's Randomness.
This is an emergency weather alert from Andy's Randomness. I am Andy Pollock. Today, we are going to talk about two important weather stories. Number one, the update with Hurricane Laura expected to hit the Texas-Louisiana border sometime on Thursday. And we're going to be talking about a potential of a severe weather outbreak in the northeastern United States today. So let's lead off with the update in the tropics. First things first, regarding Marco, NPR yesterday said that Marco had made landfall at 11:50 p.m. yesterday near the mouth of the Mississippi River. And again, the focus is now on Hurricane Laura. So what we're going to do right now is make sure we have everything loaded up here. Okay, we're good. Yeah. Because we're not going to go with the tidbits model. I'd rather go with the Florida one. That's the more reliable one. It's very alarming that Houston is in this path. So let's lead off with the radar. To be fair, this is Hurricane Laura right now. It currently is a Cat 1. It is currently west of Cuba. And on the radar you can see somewhat over Mexico, I believe. But that's the specific way the radar is presenting it. See here, here's the infrared. And right there is the eye. I can tell the eye is forming of Hurricane Laura. So let's go into here. Laura is forecasted to reach the northwestern Gulf Coast at or near major hurricane intensity Wednesday night. Do not focus on the details of the official forecast given the typical uncertainty in NHT's track and intensity predictions. Storm surge, wind, and rainfall hazards will extend well away from Laura's center along the Gulf Coast. There is danger of life-threatening storm surge accompanied by large and dangerous waves from San Luis past Texas to the mouth of the Mississippi River, including areas inside the Port Arthur Hurricane Flood Protection Center. A storm surge warning is in effect. The storm surge warning, and this is what I saw from what the NHC was saying earlier on the Weather Channel this morning, was that you could see with my mouse, they want to extend the storm surge warning towards New Orleans for 2 to 4 feet waves, which whoever that gentleman was on the Weather Channel representing the NHC, I completely agree with them on that. Because literally, they had somebody from the NHC on the Weather Channel this morning suggesting that. So, I completely agree with that. 100%. That later today, you could see a storm surge warning, or definitely sometime tomorrow. Now, as far as hurricane warning, they have hurricane warnings now into Houston, into Lake Charles, and into Lafayette for storm surge. That's what they are expecting here. Okay. So advice would be actions to protect life and actions to prevent COVID-19 spread should be rushed to completion today, as water levels will begin to rise tomorrow. Hurricane conditions are expected by tomorrow evening in the area from St. Louis past Texas to the west of Morgan City, Louisiana. And a hurricane warning is in effect. Tropical storm conditions are expected to begin in the warning area Wednesday afternoon. The threat of widespread flash and urban flooding along with small streams overflowing their banks will be increasing tomorrow night into Thursday from far eastern Texas along Louisiana and Arkansas. So, they're in agreement that Arkansas is going to see effects from this too. Southern Arkansas could see something. Yeah, and then you have chance of rain also for the northeast. So the remnants of this storm could impact the weather for the Northeast and where I am in New York City. That's something that needs to be closely monitored over the weekend. Also, the fact that I have a friend who's in Jersey today, and she's supposed to come home on Saturday. So I wonder how that's going to be impacted, because she's in the enhanced storm risk for her area in Monmouth County, Jersey today. So I will have to get into that at the end of this video, because we just want to focus on this storm first. So what we want to do is go into specifics. Okay, warning cone. This is what we want, warning cone. So Houston is in the warning cone. It's too close to predict where this is going to impact at the moment. But as a safe bet, Houston needs to keep an eye on this. That's all I'm saying, because we're going to see what the radar is suggesting on tidbits shortly. So what we want to do is go into peak surge. Now the surge is going to be interesting, because they're claiming that Galveston's going to see 3 to 5 feet, and Searim State Park in Louisiana could see 13 feet. Then you have Lake Borgne and Lake Pontchartrain. New Orleans could see something. There is a possibility, so that wouldn't be ruled out. Wind speed. Here we go. This is what we want. Wind. Okay, here we go. Because if I use Ventu Sky, it's just going to be more complicated, because tomorrow or Thursday would be a generalized idea of when I could go on to Ventu Sky and get more specifics. Which, tomorrow's situation, it's going to have to be a prime time update, because as we get closer, any information I give in the morning either way, because again, I'm not going to be home until at least, I'd say, 1 or 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, it's going to have to be prime time, because the wind is going to keep shifting. This is what I'm afraid of, is that this wind here, 90%, could go into Houston. They're claiming now parts of eastern Houston could get to that 90% wind. Now, is it going to be hurricane strength wind? If they're issuing a hurricane warning, then yes. Because a lot of meteorological experts think this could be a Cat 3. I don't know. That's too close to call right now. And lastly, let's just get to the rainfall. That's what I want to see. Rainfall. So the worst rain will definitely be in Louisiana. Parts of eastern Texas could see some rain too. Houston could see rain, but it's more about the flooding. Yeah, flash flooding. That's a good idea. Let's look at that one. Yeah, see? Flash flooding. They're at a slight risk, Houston, through flash flooding. And then as Laura becomes a Cat 1, Arkansas could still see some effects from the storm on Friday. So, there you have it. Now, as far as what the GFS is suggesting, this is what the GFS is suggesting. So, let's pull up the Weather Channel. If I can find it. Trying to see if I can find the scale. Yeah, this is the one. I know I should have it here. So, when we look at the scale, this is very alarming. 957. That's a Cat 3. So, Tidbits is starting to agree that this could be a Cat 3 when it makes landfall. But when we look at the worst of the rain, 969, and that becomes a Cat 2. Okay, so Cat 3 going to Cat 2, making a landfall. Now that makes sense. What I'm concerned about is if it shifts west. If it shifts west, the worst of the rain from the storm ends up going to Houston. Beaumont should be on close alert because the heavier band of rain suggesting from the GFS that it could go into Beaumont. Then you have the heavy rain. This is a Cat 1, 993. Yeah, once it's 980, it downgrades to a tropical storm. Okay, there we go. But even with a tropical storm, the situation becomes heavier band of rain ends up in Arkansas on Friday, and then it just goes here. And now let me just see in the long run the GFS later on from the northeast. I'll take a look at that later on. So here's the NAM. We got the NAM now. And the NAM is suggesting, yeah, the NAM and GFS are in agreement. The NAM and GFS are in agreement with the Texas-Louisiana border. There you have it. The NAM is in agreement that this could downgrade to a tropical depression when it hits Arkansas. But the issue is when it's 1,000 MB, that's still a tropical storm. So tropical storm conditions could be felt in southern Arkansas Thursday night into Friday. Alright, now let's move on to the northeast. There's a major breaking news story regarding the severe weather for a majority of the northeast today. A majority of the northeast today is under a slight risk of severe thunderstorms. If you are in the area of Philadelphia here, all the way to Ocean City, Maryland, and maybe even Salisbury today, maybe even going here, please be on alert for enhanced storms today. According to NWS Mount Holly, they are claiming that the best chance of rain today will be from 3 to 8 p.m. So don't let your guard down if you are in any of these areas today. I'm going to keep an eye on my area today because I saw something very alarming with one of the models that a severe band of rain could move through Brooklyn today. And I'm very concerned that this band could impact my mom's friends in Mill Basin today. So they have to be on alert for this because I was literally looking at the radar and it kept, like, 2 models kept suggesting that one band of rain could go through southern Brooklyn where Mill Basin is. So I have to keep an eye on that today. Let me just take a look and see what I have here. Okay, here we go. Here's today. So the GFS is being very iffy today because, again, with these storms, they're very unpredictable. So the GFS is not going to be specific. But as far as the remnants of Laura, yeah, here come the remnants of Laura. Looks like the remnants of Laura could hit the New York metro region sometime on Sunday. But the good news with the remnants of Laura, and this is what I'm glad about, we're actually going to have unseasonable cool weather here in New York starting the first week of September, which I'm actually kind of glad about because normally it stays in the 80s for the first and second week of September. Surprisingly, we're going to be in the low to mid 70s here in New York next week, which that's kind of surprising. I'm actually welcoming that because I'll bring it up shortly. Let me just take a look at the NAM. Yeah, look at that. Appalachian Mountains could see something today. Ooh, hang on. Henrico County. They may get affected by a band today. That's where Richmond is. Ooh, that has to be monitored. Okay, so in the short run, we're going to pull up the temperature. Let's see, where's the temperature? Can I pull up the temperature? No, that's not the right one. I do apologize, folks. Let me see. Is it the upper one? Thermodynamic. Ah, here we go. This is the right one. So I want to show you how unseasonably cool it's going to be in New York for this time of the year coming up. Next week. Right. Next week. So if tidbits could load today, that would be great. Because lately this website is so slow. Can't blame them. I just want to mention today it's supposed to hit 90. Today is Tuesday. So making sure I get an accurate timeline. So this band of rain represents the cold front that comes today. Tomorrow, parts of the New York metro region will barely hit 80. Then going into Thursday. Now, look how crazy this cold front is. Parts of New England could be in the 50s for a low tonight. And look at that. Could be in the 30s in Canada tonight. Very unseasonable. So you look here. Gets into the 80s again on Friday. And there might be a chance we might hit 90 again on Friday, but that has to be monitored. Yeah, and then the weekend is when remnants of Laura is supposed to come through to New York. So it is slowly loading, which is a good thing, but this is why I get so annoyed with tidbits, is because, again, this website just takes a long time to load. Very long time. So there goes Laura. The remnants of it represents now the next cold front that moves through. Humidity will go up on Thursday. I know I'm going a little bit off topic, but I just want to show you how crazy this is. Look how crazy this is. Next Monday, lows in the low 60s. This is late September weather coming in the last day of August. And then very nice weather coming up. Very unseasonable, but it's something I'm welcoming a lot. So I don't have to use my AC at least. See that? Look. Doesn't even hit 80. May not even hit 80 until Wednesday next week. And then Thursday, I'm just looking at it. Yeah, mid-80s are forecasted for next a week from Thursday. And then Friday looks like we go back into the low 70s again. Wait, spoke too soon. Yeah, look at that. May get back into the mid to upper 80s next week from Friday. So, if you like unseasonable cool weather in the Northeast, you're going to look forward to it next week, because we may not see these low to mid 70 temperatures until at least the end of September. At least till then, from what I'm thinking. Last note I want to bring up today, programming note, Andy's Randomness will have the tape of Governor John Carney's briefing from Delaware today regarding COVID-19. There was a development in New York today. The update was New York has lifted the quarantine restriction for Delaware and Maryland today. However, with Virginia still being at a 6% positive rate for COVID-19, Virginia is still not off the quarantine list. So I'm sorry to my viewers from Accomack. Maybe you were waiting to hear the good news today from New York. If you were possibly planning to come up to the Northeast, I do feel bad for my viewers in Accomack. That's just a very unfortunate thing. But they have to be on alert today because of this. So, kind of think of it. I don't think Accomack could see something out of this today. No, not that I'm aware of. Also, I quickly want to mention something important happening in the New York State Senate today. I'm going to see if I can get that tape available to my viewers. The New York State Senate today is having a hearing on the MTA. So if I can find the tape later today, I will try to get a tape of this later, hopefully. So I will do my best to get a tape up sometime before the end of the week. So with that, I think we're going to wrap everything up. So thank you all very much for watching. This has been an emergency weather alert from Andy's Randomness. Thank you for watching.